Hi everyone, welcome to Feel Good Artworks. I'm going to be showing you some of the results of the resin work that I've been doing and preparing for my art show on Saturday. I'll show you the pictures and we'll get into the actual resin work itself. They turned out pretty well. I'm very happy with them at this point. They're not 100% perfect, but they're as close to perfect as I could get. I'm really happy with the results. I'm using magic resin here. I've tried several and I think magic resin is probably the fastest to cure. It's also the easiest to work with. I found it the less messy. There's no stickiness to it if you leave it for the right amount of time. And about 4 to 5 hours into the process of the cure, you can actually go back and touch up a few little parts while the resin is still in a jelly state. So that's kind of saved me a few times. Otherwise you have to wait and then kind of sand it down and have to do a second coat, which can take a long time and obviously just prolongs the process. You'll notice in this video that I've gone back and I've glossed over some pictures or paintings that I did quite some time ago. This bird, the Phoenix Rising I've called it, is a painting that I did back in, I believe, August or September. It took me a while to finish it off using all the metallics, the coppers, and just trying to get the effects that I was looking for. But I've kind of thought several times whether I just want to varnish this or I wanted to go with a resin. Here I'm going back over and doing the resin work for my coasters. The reason I'm using resin rather than varnish is because it sets really well, and if you're using the coasters for what they're intended for, i.e. putting hot drinks on them, using resin you're not going to get the cup sticking to the coaster as you would with perhaps a varnish or some cheap resins I've used in the past. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe to this channel. Now you'll notice that I'm not actually showing you the resin process itself, but this is immediately afterwards. The resin has been setting for about 6 hours. You can see the effect of the shower sealer strip that I've used around those edges to create really straight edges for this, which was the effect that I was going for. I'm really happy with the way this turned out. It's very level. This is a second coat, so I must emphasize that. And the sticky that you're seeing on the side there, I got that off with Gooby Gun, basically. Very simple process. But overall, the silicone shower sealer worked great, as shown here, and as you can see for showcasing this piece of art for my show. Now you may remember the coasters that I created in a few videos ago, maybe a month ago, and this is the result of the resin process. I basically put the coaster, after it's dried, on top of one of these. It's basically a yogurt cup, and then pour the resin over the top, making sure it hits the sides, smear it all off with my gloves, and let it sit and cure. Sometimes I have to redo them with a second layer, and some of these are actually being done with a second layer. But for the most part, once it comes out, they're dry, they're fully cured, they're super smooth, the cups won't stick to them, and all I have to do is kind of chisel off some of those drips that you're seeing on the underside. You know, what's fascinating for me is when I look at these coasters now, they're much prettier than they were when I was painting them. Look at that orange one, absolutely gorgeous with the cell creation that you're seeing there. I think the prior purple one was absolutely gorgeous as well. And the resin really helps bring that out with the gloss. So it's been quite a revealing process, and one that started off not super happy with what the result was to being really happy and excited to show these off to folks that might be interested in maybe picking up one or maybe a set. So let's shift gears a little bit and see what all this looks like once it's drying. Here are two that, again, I've been working on for quite some time. The second layer on this Red Dragon piece. to take out any of the irregularities that were there. I think there was a few air bubbles. So I sanded that down and put a second layer over the top. It looks a lot better. So here's the results of the rest of the work once it's all cured, and a lot of it is now sitting on the wall. I'm really happy with the results at this point. Hope you are too. Let me know what you think in the comments. These coasters turned out real nice at the end, as you can see. These are completely done now. I've sanded down the drips that were on the bottom, signed the bottom of each one as a piece of original art, and they are ready to go. So all I need to do now is package them up and put them on display for the show on the weekend, where I'm hoping to sell a few individual coasters, or maybe even some sets of 4 where the color combinations make sense to set them together. So it's going to be an interesting weekend, and here they are in the baskets ready to go. I'll probably take out those kitchen towel backdrops there and put something nicer in there, but just for effect, there it is. And the last scene in this video is the final wall mounted pictures. This is probably a good time to ask you to subscribe to my channel if you don't already. Please leave your comments, and there's more information in the description about things I've talked about in this video. Anyway, take care. Thanks for watching.